Good afternoon, coaches. Thanks for having us out here today. I'm going to be brief and get you up here with our featured guest, Kevin Atlas, in just a moment. But I just wanted to let you guys know a little bit about why we're out here today. Kevin is on a 300-stop tour with us over the next couple of years. We started this in January, and we're really looking forward to sharing the Believe in You challenge with you today. Kevin's going to go over that a little bit more here in just a moment. But again, just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Sam Murphy. I'm with Varsity Brands. You've seen our partners in the vendor booth area, BSN Sports, Herf Jones, and Varsity Spirit. And really what we're trying to do today is help to give you guys some tools to help engage students on your campus. So I'm going to let Kevin come out here and talk to you guys a little bit about what we're doing with the Believe in You challenge, as well as share his story. So without further ado, Kevin Atlas.
Thanks, brother. How you guys doing? Good? New Mexico. Haven't been here for a while. I gotta say, baby, I'm excited. You guys ready for Area 51 raid or no? No? So, those of you guys who don't know me, my claim to fame, I was the first Division I and pro basketball player to play with a disability. I played out in Taiwan for a little bit, and I'm in a unique position in my life where I'm very blessed. I've traveled the entirety of the world. I've been to 49 U.S. states in every continent but Antarctica, and I'm going to Alaska and Antarctica next year, so I'll hit the whole world by 30, which is pretty wild. And I've met people from, thank you. I've met people from all different walks of life, and I've been blessed with like this insane perspective. You know, I've spoken to Facebook, Google, United Nations. I've accomplished quite a bit, but I really care about these kids. And to be honest, I'm the epitome of it took a village to raise a child. I am the epitome of coaches and teachers doing their job. So I partner with BSN and Varsity Brands to do this tour and to do a video series, which we're going to talk about, free for you guys, just free content you can share to your teams at the end of this. But before I get started, there's two elephants in the room. If I don't talk about them or address them, you won't listen to anything else I say. I know how this goes. You're wondering how tall I am. One, I'm 6'11", disgustingly tall, I know. A giant creature. After 6'9", you're legally a giant. I hit my head on every door and average about 150 airplanes a year, and people like recline their seats on me all the time. It's a lot of fun. I have this habit of like leaning over the seats and breathing on people. Like, it works every time, baby. Second question you guys are wondering about before I get started. You're probably wondering what happened to this little baby, huh? Ooh, you like that, don't you? It's like a bet action figure. It has two movements. It goes like this and it goes like this. That's all you get for free. Classic. So I'm from Cali, and I was raised in kind of a rough circumstance, but I took my first vacation to the Big Island of Hawaii when I was in second grade, and I really didn't go anywhere, so like this was super awesome for me. And my family were on the beach, and my older brother and I were out boogie boarding. And I was like 6, he might have been like 10 or 11, and there was 4 surfers in the distance screaming and waving at us, and we thought it was because surfers hate boogie boarders or they were trying to catch a wave. We stared at them like big dummies, like, huh? Didn't happen to be the case. They were trying to warn us something was in the water, and something bumped up against my brother. He fell into the water. I got pulled in the water. I felt a click, came out of the water. My arm wasn't there anymore. And at first I was in so much shock, I hardly felt any pain at all. Me and my brother just looked at this thing like, what the heck is this? And then all the pain set in at once, and I passed out from blood loss. And I woke up in the hospital, I remember, with bandages around my arm. And my parents were crying and praying over me. And the doctor walked in with some x-rays. And he said, really sorry to tell you this, but judging by the bite marks on your arm, it was about a 6.5-foot long bull shark that bit your arm off, and there's no way to recover it. I'm just messing with you guys. It didn't happen at all. Jesus, I'm sorry. Just see your faces, though. I'm a horrible human being. That's a lot of fun to do, though. I'll tell you. You gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. Classic. Well, thanks for having me. What really happened, I'm going to give you a little context to who I am, because in the past, I realized, like, you guys having more context to who I am is going to make this cooler experience for everybody. And I don't want to bore you guys and tell you how to live. I just want you to really take a couple things away from this, as I've taken from others. I was born on both Friday the 13th and Good Friday. God's got jokes. And I was born with this little guy, and what happened, my umbilical cord wrapped around my neck twice. And when I was born, my arm got stuck in between the umbilical cord and my neck, and it took my arm off, but saved my neck, saved my life, which I think is a pretty good trade, left arm for the neck. But when I was born, I wasn't breathing. Doctors revived me a couple times. They didn't think I was going to survive. They didn't think I was going to be fully mentally there if I did. Most of my friends still wonder if I am, but they saved me. And I was born into a loving household with two awesome parents who couldn't get along. And when I was 4, they came up to me one day and they said, "Kevin, guess what? You get 2 Christmases now." And I'm like, "Yes!" But they got divorced, and that's a super messed up way to tell your kid. This is punks. But they divorced, and I was in a split custody household situation. And the reason why I'm telling you this, I'm trying to pave a picture of what I came from. Because a lot of your kids who you guys might coach might be going through similar stuff. I was in a split custody household situation. My parents were in the Silicon Valley. We were like the poorest people in a rich neighborhood, so they each worked 2 jobs. So I never saw them. They dropped me off at daycare with my older brother and sister at 5 a.m., picked us up at 7 at night. I had great parents, never saw them. I was raised in daycare. So I fell so far behind academically, I didn't have a home structure, I couldn't read till 3rd grade. You ever play that game Popcorn in class? People choose on you to read. We played that in 2nd grade. Someone called on me to read the book. I couldn't do it. And everyone started laughing at me. I was stuttering, and like a champion, like redheads get super angry for no reason. So I was so embarrassed, I threw the book across the room, and then ran out of class, hopped the fence, and just walked home. Which is a pretty boss move for a 2nd grader, if you ask me. But the principal didn't know where I was. He didn't know where to find me. They had to call the Pleasanton Police Department. They thought I got abducted. There's a one-armed kid on the loose. You got to find him. I was the worst. I was in special needs. They didn't, seriously, I was in special needs for like a month. I was in anger management and counseling. I had a speech deficiency. I couldn't say L's or R's till middle school. Couldn't read till I was in 3rd grade. Colorblind to most colors. Lucky Charms all look the same, man. It's messed up. I was diagnosed with ADHD and dyslexia. Solid. Classic guy. I was the kid that makes you come home as a teacher and say, "Man, to your spouse, I should have been a dentist. This dude, I don't know what to do with him." But to make matters worse, going into 3rd grade one morning before my dad dropped us off at daycare, he explained to us he was diagnosed with cancer, me and my brother and sister. He didn't know how much longer he was going to live, and my older siblings ran out of the room bawling, crying. I sat there and stared at him. I was a little slow, yeah, but I had no idea what cancer was. I was 7. But I realized he was sick, and how I perceived it as a little kid, I thought he works 2 jobs, and if he didn't have to work so much, he could come home and stay home and rest and get better, just like you stay homesick from school. I was convinced that your house is a magical place that heals you. So I started to save every penny in the planet for him, just how I processed it as a little kid. So I saved every penny in the planet. What do I mean by that? The lemonade stands, car washes, every weekend. I sold candy at school for a profit. I got brought in the principal's office for that too. They thought I was going to be a drug dealer. If there was a quarter on the ground at a grocery store, it was mine. I was going to die for it. You could be an old lady going for that quarter. I'd pummel you. I had no chill at all. That quarter was mine. Something happened pretty cool in 4th grade. My buddy Stephen Brooks, he was getting bullied by this 5th grader, Bobby, and Stephen got punched in the eye. He was against the wall. He was crying. And I went over to Stephen. I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "Bobby punched me." And I went over to Bobby because I was 5'10", right? Shaggy red hair, looked like Ronald McDonald. Disgusting, giant kid. I looked down at Bobby and I was like, "Bobby, you ever mess with Stephen again, you gotta go through me." Bobby was terrified of me because I'm a freak of nature. He stopped messing with Stephen, and Stephen's that kid who had all the fruit roll-ups and the Gushers and the Lunchables. He started to give me half his lunch every day to protect him from Bobby. I got the $2 my parents gave me to buy lunch every day because they didn't have time to make it. I saved for my dad. So my first job was a bodyguard in the 4th grade, which is pretty sick. I saved up a little entrepreneur, man. I saved up $240+. It was $1 bills with rubber bands around it. I was killing it, man. And I put it in a pair of shoes I never wore in my closet so my siblings wouldn't find it and take it. My dad found it one day. He's 6'9", 280-pound dude. "Kevin, get up here." I was like, "Man, what'd I do now?" He looked down at me. He's like, "Where'd you get this?" And I looked up at him and I said, "I was saving it for you so you could come home and get better." And I'll never forget my dad's face because he was a tough dude and he thought he could just pretend the cancer wasn't there. He thought he was invincible. But he started crying, and I've only seen him cry maybe twice in my whole life. And he looked down at me, and he realized his fourth grade son was saving his lunch money to try to save him from cancer. He didn't say a word. He just put the money in his pocket, walked out of the room. I was like, bro, that's my money, man. Where are you going with that? I have no idea what I did for that. But he quit both of his jobs. He literally came home and started chemo, the treatment for cancer. And as a fourth grade kid, I thought I succeeded, like $240 was enough to raise 3 kids on. I had no idea. But I never had to go to daycare again. I went camping, hiking, fishing. He made my lunches, cut the crust off of it. I got to know my dad. Unfortunately, in the 5th grade, he didn't beat his fight with cancer. As a 10-year-old kid, I held his hand as he took his last breath in our living room as hospice was taking care of him. And I was broken. I blamed myself. I didn't raise the money fast enough. I couldn't save him. I was broken. I went back to school and I put on this mask, pretending everything was okay on the outside, but inside, because I didn't want people to pity me more than they already did, but inside, I was a wreck. And I don't come here to depress you guys. I come here for you guys to understand who's speaking to you. Because I'm not that little kid anymore. And I know 49 states, I can't speak for Alaska, whatever they're doing, shooting moose, I haven't been there yet. But the rest of the states of the country, nobody has spoken more than me to the youth. And I will tell you one thing, anxiety, depression, these kids are wearing that mask more than they ever have, and it's getting worse. And I'm out there on a mission to change that, because they matter to me. Today, I'm 29. They made a documentary in my life story. It was up for Academy Award. I accomplished all my goals and dreams in basketball. I do not mean to be boastful, but I came from nothing. They're making a motion picture, like a Blindside movie right now in Hollywood. I was just there last week. We're in the pre-production stages of creating a Blindside movie on my life story. I served as the youngest board member for Special Olympics, spokesperson for Boys and Girls Club of America. I'm crushing it with varsity brands, changing lives, lasting change all over the country. Pretty sick. I just pitched a TV show with Mark Wahlberg all over called Celebrity Substitute. We're waiting to get a call back from a studio where celebrities go in, like Undercover Boss, into high schools and try to, Channing Tatum can act, but can he teach a chemistry class? Because athletes and actors and singers are overpaid, overappreciated. Coaches and teachers are underpaid, underappreciated. So we want a hidden camera show to see how kids act while they have a sub. That would be pretty sick. You like that? Yeah, there you go. I'm literally on a mission, and I have 100 other things going on, but I'm on a mission, man. I'm on a mission. How did a kid who had no chance in life get to where I am today? One coach. One coach. You. I want you to hear those words. I started playing soccer first sport I played. Great outlet for a kid, but man, I was the kid who'd score on my own goal. I was terrible at soccer. Parents are like, he doesn't have hands, so how do we put him in sports? So you put me in soccer. That makes sense. That's rational. I was not a soccer player, I'll tell you. And there's this dude, Jim Abbott. He was like my childhood hero on the Yankees. He's a friend of mine now, but he was a one-arm pitcher, so I got into baseball, and I was good at baseball. I'd catch the ball, switch with my glove, and throw it. I was a pitcher and first baseman. It crushed it. I was on all-star teams, the only sport I was good at. I played football, man. The football coaches just had me offensive, defensive line. And imagine, man, I was like 200 pounds, like 6 foot tall, like 5th, 6th grade. They just had me fall forward and crush everybody. That's all I did. It was so easy. It wasn't until 7th grade I ever even touched a basketball. And I went into middle school. My middle school was called Pleasanton Middle School, and they didn't think this one through. Pleasanton Middle School, it was called PMS. And our school colors, no joke, they were red. So, yeah, we're the PMS Panthers, so never got made fun of. And I went into 7th grade, I was 6'4", just like fee-fi, fo-fum, just disgustingly giant. And my buddy Cody's like, dude, you can't be this big and not play basketball, so he had me try out with the middle school team with him. And after the tryouts, this coach, not the one I was referring to earlier, but this coach, the 7th grade coach, pulled me aside and he said basketball was a 2-arm sport and to try something else. And he cut me from the team. What a punk, huh? Didn't want to play for PMS anyway, bro. But this is where my life took a turning point. I want you to hear this because this AAU coach, he had if you know AAU in basketball, travel, off-season club team, He had 17, 18-year-old college-bound D1 athletes. They were nationally ranked. And he had all the best guys, like varsity basketball from the Bay Area on his team, man. They crushed it. And he heard about a one-armed seventh grader, couldn't make his seventh grade team, called my mom. We didn't even know him, had me try out, got dunked on 30 times. It was awful. Gave me a jersey, gave me a spot on the team, did something way bigger than that. He changed my perspective, he changed my life. He went out of his way, whatever was in his heart, and he changed me. One day he came up to me in practice. He's like, Kevin, when you play basketball, why don't you use that arm? It's like, what are you talking about? He's like, that arm, why don't you use it when you play? I was like, chill, bro, I don't have an arm, right? That's the whole thing. He's like, no, man, that thing's a weapon. This thing, guys, I call it my nub. Everybody waves to the nub. Yeah, wave to it. It's getting really weird, huh? It is. I need a volunteer. I'm going to pick this guy. Why don't you come on stage real quick? Give him a round of applause. What's your name, dude? Rucker? Yep. Nice to meet you, Rucker. Come on up here. Cute little fella, little Rucker. Rucker, you coach?
Yes, sir.
What do you coach?
Cross country.
Cross country, love it, man. So this thing, were you guys' bones separating the forearm, reconnect at the wrist? Mine were just like, no, not going to do that. So these are two bones. They're like little daggers. You getting nervous, bro? I'm going to give you a little nub, okay? I won't do it super hard.
Okay.
I know you got to probably run later or something. How'd that feel?
Yeah, not too good.
Not too good? You liked it. Look at that smile. Give him a little nubby nub. Rucker, I want you to pull my arm down. Use both arms. You get all those hands.
No, that's good.
It's cross country guys, right? I mean, got on that nub muscle, baby. Let's go. It's pretty strong, huh?
Yeah.
Dude, I respect you. Thank you, Rucker. Give him a round of applause. Thank you, man. Just out here getting nubbed in New Mexico. You'll never be the same. What this coach did, this thing's stupidly powerful for no reason. Like, he made me the world's dirtiest basketball player. There's nothing in the rule book against nubbing people. So I'd post up on the block and call for the ball, give the other player a little nub on the side like this. The refs can't see it. Super sneaky and cute little ninja nub, baby. I'll run down the court and just nub guys with this thing. They get all angry, try to fight me. The ref's like, why are you trying to fight the one-arm guy? What's wrong with you? Works out for everybody, man. Dirtiest player in friggin' basketball. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar asked me one time, I was hanging out with him, how did I play D1 and play pro with one arm? And I nubbed him as hard as I could. I almost broke his rib. He said a lot of cuss words. And then he said, the hook shot's got nothing on that thing, man. You need to keep it up. I'm going to tell you, this thing's stupid. But here's the thing. Here's the point. Like, you need to realize this, and you need to realize this as a coach for your players, for your athletes, because we're all born different, we sound different. For someone who's traveled the whole world, the coolest part about humanity, we all have our quirks, we all have our own insecurities. I was born like this. I hated this arm. Everything I hated about my crappy life was summed up right here, and I couldn't hide it. I tried to wear long sleeve shirts. Girls were ruthless to me. Guys, like, verbally bullied me. I hated looking in mirrors. And this coach couldn't fix it. He couldn't grow it out. He changed my perspective on it. You have to realize how powerful the human brain is. Just by accepting it, he made my greatest weakness my greatest strength. Hear those words. Because if you can't accept yourself, you can't lead. How the hell are you supposed to expect anyone else in this world to accept you if you can't accept yourself? How are you supposed to expect anyone to love you if you can't love you first? How is anyone supposed to believe in you if you don't believe in you? And that's what that coach did. Like a light switch. Nothing wrong with me. Use that nub. 8th grade, didn't just make the team, I was the best player on it. Nubbing people all day, baby. Went into freshman year of high school, and this is where it gets good. See, my high school, my area in California, AAA D1, there was no school that had less than 3,000 kids at it in our conference. The biggest school had 5,500. We had big guys. And I went into freshman year. And I started playing, and I fell in love with basketball. It's all I wanted to do. And my coach, same coach taught me about the nub, came up, and he told me something. And this crushed me. He said, Kevin, I know you want to play the NBA. I know you want to go on to play college. Never going to happen. And I was like, dang, man, that's cruel. And he's like, you want to know why? And I want you to hear this. He's like, I know what you do when you go home. I talk to your mom. When you go home, you watch Netflix, and you eat a snack. And then you come to practice and work hard like every other friggin' kid in this country isn't going to practice and working hard. Then you go home, you shower, eat dinner, procrastinate homework. Sometimes you don't do it. You go to bed. You wake up the next day and do the same thing. You're never going to make it, Kevin. Legends are made behind closed doors. Walked away from me. You know what I did that night? I went home and I bawled my eyes out crying because he was right. I'm going to do you guys a huge favor here. Collectively, I have a question. What is the worst part about coaching? What is the worst part about coaching? Parents. Parents. Raise your hand if you think that's true. Oh, look at all those hands. It's like a weird fantasy for this guy. Parents. Thank you, sir. Parents complaining. I'm going to solve your problem. Your worst problem of coaching. I'm going to solve it because I'm living, breathing proof it works. Because when I went home, I changed my habits and routines. I want you to hear this. You know it takes 21 days to create a new habit? Sir, do you think when you blink or do you just blink? You don't think about it. That would be crazy, right? That's how your brain works. I don't think when I duck for doorways, I just duck. I hit it a couple times, you know? Now I don't think about it. It's just automatic. 21 days, you can rewire your brain 21 days. I went home, and you know what? He was right. And what I did, in tears, wrote down on a piece of paper what my weaknesses were in basketball. Everybody wants something in this planet. The people that figure out how are the ones that obtain it. I'm going to rope back to the parents in a second, so just bear with me. I wasn't very strong, Rutger. Coaches didn't know how to work me out of the weight room. They sent me home while the rest of the team worked out because what do you do with a one-arm guy? I wasn't fast. I had such severe asthma, I ended up in an ambulance in 8th grade. Had no endurance. So I wrote down my weaknesses, and I wrote a solution to them. Did you know when I watch commercials on TV, it's a complete waste of time for a kid? So what do? Push-ups. One-arm push-ups. Every time TV comes on and there's a commercial break, I'm out there doing nub push-ups, baby. We know about that, Rutger, huh? Got a great smile, buddy. I love you. I'm at my buddy's house, and all of a sudden the TV comes on, and I'm down on the friggin' floor doing push-ups because it's a commercial. He's like, what are you doing? And I don't even realize it. Habit. Your habits make your routine. Behind closed doors. When I went home, I had a bag of bricks in my backyard. We didn't take a lot of vacations, so I filled up a duffel bag suitcase with bricks, put the straps around my nub, lifted it 100 times. Didn't matter if I was tired, didn't matter if it was hot out, it was cold. 100 times, bag of bricks. As I got stronger, added more bricks to get this muscle stronger. Crazy. I ran 2 miles every morning. We woke up, me and Evan Benaru, kept each other accountable and had discipline. This football player ran 2 miles, hard-boiled eggs before school every day. Do the math, 10 miles a week, 40 miles a month, more than anybody else is doing. You got a 6'11" kid who can now run. Did you know you could grow out of asthma? Because I ran every morning on top of doing the mile in PE, on top of practice. All of a sudden, I'm the fast guy on the court. Big man couldn't keep up with me. I was too strong for little dudes like Rutger over here to guard me. I'd just nub him anyway, right? And my endurance grew so great, I didn't have to come off the court. I didn't play basketball till 7th grade. By my sophomore year, I was ranked in the state of California. You want to tell a parent to whatever off? Here's how. Beginning of your season, whatever sport you play, assess your players and then give them a little sheet. Here's your weaknesses. Here's a habit you can instill in 21 days. Give it to them. No, don't give it to them. Give it to their parents. Give it to their parents. I can only coach them at practice and in games. You have to coach them at home. If they're not doing this stuff, I dare you to come up to me and complain about PT. If you want making it easy to coach your kid, well, what am I supposed to do with them? I can take the worst kid on the team and him install all of these things. You know, there's this dude called Kevin Atlas. Let me tell you about him. Guy's arm was bitten off by a shark. Use me as an example, man. Use me as an example. You have the right to do so. Your parents can't complain to you if their kid isn't working at home because legends are behind closed doors. That's where they're created. And if that kid takes you, 20 minutes to assess a team? If it's football, maybe 40. That's going to save you a lot of grief down the road. Beginning of the season. That's your challenge. You're welcome. 21-day habit, buddy. No more parents. My sophomore year, I was playing so well, a documentary crew came and they started to film my life story. I felt like a Kardashian. I had mics on. It was crazy. He creeped in the back of class, like filming me, tried to cheat on that test. I'll tell you, couldn't get into a high school party for the life of me, man. They filmed me in the shower, which is awkward and probably illegal if you think about it, but they started filming my life, and no one knew where it was going. By my sophomore year, I was averaging a double-double, like with blocks and rebounds. By my senior year, I was averaging a triple-double, and I was getting recruited by some 6 schools on the West Coast: St. Mary's, University of San Francisco, Pepperdine, the full rides. And I was sitting in my English class my senior year, and I got a call on my phone. I had a little senioritis, but if you have a phone, don't pick it up in class to the kids and all that. But I got a call from an area code. It was just 3 numbers. It was just an area code. I don't know if you ever had a call like that before, and I was curious. Mr. Poctagon, my teacher, was looking at the board, so I picked it up. I was like, hello? And they're like, is this Kevin? I said, yeah. And they said, this is the White House. And I hung up on them. I thought it was a prank call, gonna be honest with you. That somebody was pulling my chain. They called back. I just got up and straight walked in the hallway without asking. It's kind of a punk, I guess. They called back and they said the President of the United States of America saw you in Sports Illustrated. And he was really interested and inspired by you, and he wants to meet you. Would you be interested? As like a 17-year-old kid, I was like, yeah, let me check. And that sounds pretty sick. And we talked for a little bit. I walked back into my classroom. Mr. Poctagon's like, Kevin, what are you doing? I was like, the White House called me. He's like, sure, buddy, sit down. About a month later, it was George W. Bush, right before Barack Obama came into office. Last term, right? Last year of his term, he flew out on Air Force One to San Francisco Airport. I was chauffeured with Secret Service to the airport. He came off the staircase, did that fake little wave thing, came off, shook my hand. Kevin, how you doing? Spent 40 minutes with me on the tarmac. Now let me make this clear. I didn't make my 7th grade basketball team because basketball was a sport, and one of you guys stepped up and cared a little bit more and had me believe in myself. And then I worked my ass off. And by my senior year, I'm getting recognized by the most powerful person in the planet for what? Playing basketball with one arm. That's the power of believing in you. Thank you. And I feel as a coach, y'all have that responsibility. Because whether they're the best or worst kid on your team, man, athletically, these kids deserve that confidence. And all of them have a nub in their own way. All of you have a nub in your own way. You're quirks, but you have to own it. You got to own your nub. I'm telling you, you got to own it. Catches, I was born on Friday the 13th, right? We went over that? Yeah? This is really cool. Classic life. So, I'm late for a basketball game because I thought we were going to spend like 10 minutes with the president. If we're lucky, that guy wouldn't be quiet. He wouldn't shut up, really. I mean, like, awesome, dude. They gave me 2 cop cars to go the friggin' highway, like national security. We got to get this kid to a basketball game. A great way to spend our tax money. I get to the game. They hold the game up for me. I don't stretch or warm up. In the first quarter of the game, I went up to dunk the basketball, landed on my leg wrong, and broke it. Same day. Classic. I was taken to the hospital, and in the emergency room, I was watching myself on every national news station meeting the president, but I was sitting in a wheelchair with a broken leg. Worst part about a one-armed guy in a wheelchair is you kind of spin around in circles, so it's like... That's a dark joke. As long as Rucker liked it, man, that's all I care about. But man, this is the crappy part. I broke my left leg. I couldn't even use a crutch on that side. I wore a boot, and I laid in bed. I had to butt scooch to the shower. It took me 3 weeks to adapt. I missed the rest of my senior year. And all those coaches recruiting me, who I hadn't signed with yet, take a chance on Captain Hook, one thing. Take a chance with Captain Hook with a peg leg. That's where they draw the line, apparently. That's like too much pirate for anyone. They withdrew all their scholarship offers, and here I am, this kid who was nobody to somebody, to a kid with a movie made about him, to a kid who just was 10 years old again because all I ever had was basketball, and it was taken away like a sick freaking joke. I don't want to live anymore, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to take that mask off again here. A lot of kids at school, it's gotten worse with social media, etc., but anxiety and depression have increased so wildly, and they can't see the future. Which is sickening, because modern medicine at their age, they can live to 100. High school's 4% of their life. But they don't have that perspective that there's life after high school. And I didn't want to live anymore. because all I ever had was basketball. I didn't have it anymore. I had no future. I took a bottle of painkillers for my leg. I don't know how I'm alive today, and I'm blessed that I am. Every day is a blessing. But when I went back to school, something remarkable happened that saved my life, and I need you to hear this for a reason. I went to school with this kid named Josh. Josh is a sophomore. Josh can never play sports. You wouldn't be able to coach him. You know why? Because he has a super rare disease. Josh, hands and his feet and his head are the size of a 16-year-old kid. He's a sophomore. But his body's the size of a baby. His hands and his feet and his head are the size of a 16-year-old kid. His body's the size of a baby. Person with this disease that lived longest before him lived till they were 9 because your organs grow faster in your body and you die. He was 16, crushed that record. He rides around campus on this little electric cart on his belly with his head propped up with oxygen in his nose. Never play sports. Never ride a car, never ride a bike. Forget about college, forget about your goals and dreams. Forget about anything in the future. You don't even know if you're going to be alive next year. Doesn't have to come to school if he doesn't want to. The worst part about it, he's 100% mentally there. Blue ribbon academic school, 4.0 student, smarter than me. His mom has to come to campus twice a day to change his diapers. Put yourself in his shoes. That sounds like hell. If the whole world, Rutger, was my size and looked down at you and you were the size of a little baby and just with their eyes they said it, poor dude. And you rolled around in a land of giants getting pitied all day, every day, that sounds like hell. And 2 kids at my school stepped up and they did something about it. Jared Weaver, Brett Bauer. They went up to him and they asked him, how can we get you involved? And he said, I'll never play sports, but it'd be cool to be part of it. Couldn't put him in a game, but they asked the head football coach if he could have this stupid, sketchy-looking flag they built. They made a stupid flag. It was a school flag. They put it on his cart, and they had him ride around the field before a football game. You know what happened? Crowd went freaking nuts. There goes Josh with his stupid flag. Not just a standing ovation from the home side, away side too. Had him at all the sporting events. He was inherently became our mascot in a positive light. What happens when you drop a rock into water? The water ripples. That love that he brought to the table, that perspective, that gratitude rippled through my school that was cluttered with cliques and gossip and kids vaping in the bathroom and negativity, because that's what high school is now. Josh brought us together like a heartbeat. And when I came back from school with a broken leg, he came up to me and he's like, Kev, I know this must suck for you, but I'm trapped in a baby's body. Whatever. We're going to get through this. I'm here because 2 kids built him a flag, went out of their normal routine, and they built him a flag. I'm here because a coach believed in me. I'm here because of them. And it's wrong to think that if your sporting team does good, schools have great school spirit. Because if schools have great spirit, your team will probably do better. It's flip-flop. School spirit is the cure to everything I'm fighting against at your school. Because kids who aren't loved at home go to school to be loved. Kids who are loved at home go to school to learn. Kids who aren't loved at home go to school to be loved. And then they're not. The best schools I've seen across this country, and I've seen more schools than anyone, I'm telling you, are the ones with the best school spirit. Cross country, right? Let me ask you, how many people, who would you say is in the audience for the kids at the games? Parents and little siblings. You can't forget those little siblings. Wouldn't it be sick if you had the whole crowd of a football game at a cross-country event? You think your athletes would run faster? Oh, yeah. Let me ask you, do I have a football coach in here? If you're a varsity football coach, please stand up. Varsity football coach. Look at all these beautiful men. You guys are bigger out there in the back. That's why I didn't nub you. I'm going to keep standing up. Keep standing up. Let me ask you something. Sir, what's your name?
Michael Bradley.
Michael Bradley. That is a strong name. Michael Bradley. Michael, how long have you been coaching for?
34 years.
34 years. How many people go to your school? How many students are in the student body?
Right now, about 1,400.
1,400. Do you have a marching band?
Yes, sir.
Do they come to your home games?
Yes.
They do. How many home games a year?
5.
That's how many home games you have? So all the home games. And how long have you been coaching again? 34 years. What's 34 times 5, sir? Your name's Sean Bradley. I thought you knew everything. A lot. One- 170. 170 times band has supported your team. How many times have your athletes gone to a band concert? Be honest.
Say that again.
How many times, how many times has your football team gone to a band concert?
0.
0. Thank you for being honest.
Yes.
All you coaches standing up, continue to stand up if you have never once required your football team to go to a band concert, but yet band has supported you. I see you, dude, in the white shirt. Good work. The rest of you keep standing. Oh, we got enough nub to go around for everybody. It's like Thanksgiving and nubs. Here's the problem with high school. Y'all get all the support. Everyone wants to be loved and appreciated. We're so slow to do it for others. And the best schools I've ever seen flip the script. How sick would it be if before you retire, you have your football team show up to a single band event because they've been supported 170 times, and they show up with school colors, jerseys without pads. They show up and just go freaking bust through the doors, interrupt the band concert. The parents won't care, let's be honest. And go up and just go freaking crazy for the band. Just go nuts for them. We love you. One time. Band will never forget. That'll be the best part of their whole high school experience, guaranteed. That's the difference. That's what it takes, because men's football and men's basketball get all the love. And everything else is a crapshoot. Y'all want to support each other? Go to a band concert. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Football coaches, you can sit down and thank you guys. And what's your name in the white shirt? Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. Really appreciate you showing some love outside of your own team. That's selfless, and that's what matters. My senior year, we're going to get into this real quick, and we're going to wrap around, right? Let's do this. So my senior year, broken leg, didn't have anywhere to go to school. My coach sent me to this place called Fork Union Military Academy. If you don't know Fork Union Military Academy, it's like a 5th year of high school, as if high school isn't long enough, but it's all guys, and it's a military school, just like it sounds like, and it sucks. The motto there was worst place to be at, best place to be from. It was hard. I mean, like, literally it was Groundhog Day. You ever see that movie? But just every day was the worst day of your life. It was tough, and I don't mean to complain about it. I'm so grateful I went, but I'll tell you, it takes a boy into a man real quick. And I played for this man, Fletcher Arrett, who's in the Hall of Fame for basketball in Virginia. He had coached there 42 years, 42. And that guy's a legend. And I'm going to tell you, man, he took me, like, the first day of practice. He's like in his 70s, and he teach you how to put a jock strap on. Some things you can't erase from your memory, man. First day, man, I was like, man, I'm going to go back to California. I can't do this. Now, we didn't have bathroom stalls. I've seen some things. That place was tough. But he literally trained us. He went out of his way to have like Bible study in some mornings. He took us out of class. He really loved his kids. He went the extra mile. That's what he cared about. It was always them. And he had offers to go at UNC and to coach there, and Virginia Tech and coach there, but he always cared about his kids. And I love how he loved his kids, man. He always took care of them. And while we were there, we got to ranked 5th in the country for prep schools. We played a lot of JV schools at colleges. We played other schools, and we got matched up against this game, Brewster Academy. And so you guys know Brewster has been undefeated for 7 years. There's the team that no one can beat. Their first 8 guys are all signed major D1 schools. It's just kids go there for grades, so they go to Brewster. And I got matched up against this kid, Thomas Robinson, at a tournament. And if you don't know Thomas Robinson, he was the #1 recruit in the country. Ended up going to Kansas and got runner-up MVP to Anthony Davis in the NCAA that year. And he was signing autographs, walking in the gym. I didn't know him. He didn't know me, but he looked at me like, man, this kid's got one arm. Come on, man. I'm like, oh, I'm going to nub this guy so hard. That game, we played 100 times. He beat me 99, but I got his number that game. Oh, man, he scored 2 points. I dropped 15. We beat him by 12, and we broke their record, their streak of winning games. And I had every college coach shake my hand in that country. And the school came up and offered me a full ride, Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo. And I'm like, man, get me out of here. Get me out of Virginia, man. 10 minutes from the beach. I played AAU tournament, say, I'm signing. I told him right as I met him, I'm going to your school. It's over. I'm going to your school. And they flew me out there for an official visit, and they said all the things they wanted to do. I said, oh man, I don't care. I'm going to sign. I haven't seen my stepdad and my mom all year. I'm trapped in Virginia. I don't even have a phone. I have to use a payphone. I get 5 minutes a day like prison. Just let me see my parents. I will sign. They're like, this is the easiest recruiting trip ever. So they had me fly out. My parents pick me up from the airport, take me to the school. The whole coaching staff's waiting for me. And they're talking on this phone. And we get out of the car, walk up to him, and the head coach is like, I'll call you back. And he clicks his phone shut. He's like, Kevin, how was the flight? It's like, it was good, glad to be here. And he's like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. That was the athletic director. Me and the whole coaching staff just got fired on that phone call. We're unable to give you a scholarship. Nothing to do with me, but bad timing. Poor assistant coach still had to give me a tour of the school. Like, that's where I used to go drink coffee and read books. Really awkward. Worst tour I've ever taken. And then this is the sad part. I went back to the hotel room with my parents. My stepdad, 64 at the time, and my mom, they started crying. I was like, guys, come on, man, there'll be another school. And they're like, Kevin, we didn't want to tell you because you're at military academy, but we lost everything in the recession. Good old George Bush, love him. My stepdad, at 64, had to start a new job at $24,000 a year. And my mom was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, which eventually took her life. She couldn't work. And they lost the house, cars, jobs, retirement. They lost everything. They're in a temporary living circumstance. And it meant so much. I was getting a scholarship. They just needed a win. I had to get back on a friggin' airplane and fly back to Virginia to military school that night. That sucked. And everyone was asking me about the school and Cal Poly, and I told them, and I was depressed, and people saw it. And my coach, Coach Eric, just cared a little bit more than he ever had to. 3 a.m., he came up, knocked on my window, brought me out of bed. I was in long johns, and brought me into the campus chapel. He said, Kevin, I've never been a player like you, and a lot of coaches don't know what to do with you. They all love how you play. They don't know how to get better. There's no tape to watch on this. I get it. I had the same thoughts when I picked you up, but I don't regret it, and there's going to be a college for you. And we're going to make history together. You got to believe that. I'm sorry you're going through this, but you know what? Getting to college to recruit you is like getting married. You ask 50 women. That's what he told me. I was like, it's like, what? He's like, you ask 50 women. One to say yes. He said, unless you're Mormon, you can't marry more than that. That's what he told me. And I was like, man, I don't even have enough fingers for one, but okay. That was bad. And you know what he had me do during the study time going on forward? He had me write a letter to all my favorite schools in the country. No one writes hand letters anymore. Dear so-and-so at Notre Dame, this is my dream school. Always wanted to go there. You asked me to jump. I won't even ask how high. I'll jump out the roof. I'll do anything for you. Whatever you need, you won't regret taking a chance on me. Dear so-and-so at UCLA, you are my dream school. I've always wanted to go to your school. 50 of them. And we sent them all out. And you know what happened? No one does this. Roy Williams, UNC, we got a walk-on spot for him. Notre Dame, we got a walk-on spot for him. Coach K, Kentucky, we got a walk-on spot for him. Dartmouth, we got a spot for him. Princeton, stay one more year at military school. Big men are leaving, we got a spot for you. Stay one more year at what? You didn't know me when I was young. I'm not that smart, bro, but I can't stay a year. Colgate, academic scholarship. Manhattan College, New York City, full ride. I went out to New York, had a much better experience. It took me SNL for my recruiting trip, pretty sick. You guys want your athletes to do well? 50 letters. 50 letters. At least they'll know who you are. One thing I want to tell you about college is I played there for 3 years. I actually, for being in special needs to graduating college in 3 years at 40 credits a year as an honor student, it's a big turnaround. Pretty crazy. I'm all there now. Yeah. But my junior year, we had a coach switch up. My head coach flew out to Kentucky, and he coached with his best friend, Cal Perry. And we had this new coach come from Louisville under Patino, youngest coach ever, D1 spot. Came to my school. His name's Steve Masiello. had a little tiff with this guy because he's crazy, because he said we're going to be the hardest working team in the country. NCAA rules, they didn't apply to this dude. But we all had 8-packs, and we looked great. But he killed us, like, to the next level. And something happened, and I want to paint you a picture, and I want you to put yourself in my shoes, because there's a story here with a message. Ready? Sitting in my room preseason with George Beeman, the best player in the conference, who is my suite mate, Ramel Brown, who now plays overseas, Ryan McCoy, my roommate, little freshman. I'm a junior. I took him under my wing. Bought him everything, man. He didn't tell me till after we graduated. His mom's the CEO of Avon. Freaking punk, bro. Princeton with his little parted hair, little cutie pie. Freaking jerk. We're all sitting there eating Domino's Pizza watching White Man Can't Jump on Spike TV. And then we get a text from the coaching staff. Girls have a basketball scrimmage. This was preseason. Go to the women's basketball game. We all looked at our phones. We're settled in. We're tired. We're like, oh. We looked at our phones. We said, no. We didn't go. 10 p.m., group text. 5 a.m., weight and conditioning room. Don't be late. We're like, man, this coach doesn't give a break. We show up, we wake up and go there. We're there at 4:45. 5 o'clock turns around, no one's there. We think it's a joke. We're going to go back to our rooms. You know who walks in? The head coach, who never comes to the morning stuff. Veins out of his face, bright red, cusses at us, New York talk. I've never even heard some of those words. And he puts us all on a treadmill, and he says, run at the highest speed and highest elevation. And we felt that Domino's Pizza. And he sat there crossed-armed like he was going to kill us, and he sat there and stared at us. And we ran and ran and ran and ran until Ryan McCoy's like, Coach, how long do we have to do this? Coach is like, till you drop. He spoke like Batman. You guys ever see someone fly off a treadmill before? Ryan just like immediately, I saw him on my peripheral, he just went boom and just flew off the treadmill. And then I saw Ramel Brown go down, and I'm running with George, and then I'm like, well, everyone's doing it. And I flopped and flew on the ground. It's like inevitable, right? And then George did, and he's on the ground. You get cut up. It hurts. I was pretending it hurt more than it did because I want to do more stuff. I was like, Coach, I lost an arm. But he stood over the four of us on the ground, and he looked down at us, and he said in a bunch of words that I can't repeat, you four think you're so good to go to a women's basketball scrimmage? I'll put you on the women's basketball team. See you tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Think we ever missed another game we had to go to? No. Here's the men's basketball team at Manhattan College. We didn't have a football team, so we were the number one team. When I went into school, the average GPA was a 1.8 cumulative for the men's basketball team. A lot of swag, baby. Not a lot of effort in the classrooms. We had a very bad reputation. All of a sudden, we don't wear earbuds when we walk around because we look like jackasses. Sorry, I'm not good with air quotes, but you know what I mean. We're unapproachable, so you can't wear earbuds when you rock around school. What about your kids? We had to go to every single game one time. Women's basketball team. We went to cross country. I went to a lacrosse game. I always thought that was like rich kids with sticks, man, with awesome hair. Just like, lacrosse is awesome. And you know what the other team saw? The men's basketball team supporting them. And they followed. And you know who the student body follows? The athletes. We had the number one worst soccer team for men's soccer in the country. Last place. My buddy was the team captain. I always congratulated him on being the team captain of the worst team of the country. Forget about scoring, or forget about winning a game. They couldn't score a goal. But you know what you couldn't get? You couldn't get a seat in the bleachers to watch it. Because our school was freaking nuts now, and we cared about Manhattan College because one coach made us step up because everyone looked at us and they had us show up. Could you partner with other coaches at your school and create this snowball effect? Would that change your school spirit? I know it will because I've seen it and I've been part of it. And guess what? If you're selfish and you don't care about helping the kids, that's still fine too. You know why? Because I'm also living proof that it works for your own team. My sophomore year, we won 6 games. My junior year, we won 23. We tied the all-time turnaround in D1 basketball history from one season to another because we were gelling in the crowd. We were doing homework. GPA skyrocketed. Create a snowball effect at your school. I partner with BSN for this reason because I, again, feel like if we can turn your leadership around, your sports teams will do better, yes, but kids won't be so anxious and depressed. High school is a 4-year prison sentence. It doesn't have to be. We created the Believe in You Challenge. The Believe in You Challenge is essentially going to a band concert and filming it with your team and then posting it on all social platforms and then hashtagging Believe in You Challenge. You know what a challenge is, like the ice bucket challenge? Stupid things become cool over the web, like the dab. You ever see a one-arm dab? What's up? Why isn't it cool to support each other in high school? All our problems go away. And it starts with you. You're the head of the snake. You could do what my college coach did and force us. And you know what? People are going to see it's cool across the country, and we can make a ripple effect, not unlike Josh did at my school, but nationally. Grades will go up. Sports will go up. There'll be a different vibe at your school. And kids showing up to your cross-country match, that would be pretty sick. Believe in You Challenge. Say it with me. Believe in You Challenge. 1, 2, 3. Ha, I've now become Tony Robbins. You're all part of my cult of greatness. Believe in You Challenge. I know, I'm sorry, that is nuts. He mentored me for a little bit. I love that guy. I'm just teasing him. We also have the Believe in You series. I've hosted and created with Varsity Brands a series that can be played for your athletes. They're 9-minute episodes. There's even curriculum exercises. If you're a teacher, you can play it in class. There's 9-episode seasons, about 10 minutes long each. I have Allison Schmidt, 4-time gold medal winning Olympian, who was suicidal before an event. Michael Phelps had to pick her up, throw her in a pool. She won a gold. Fake smiles. It's all about that mental health and wellness. We had a kid diagnosed with leukemia at St. Jude Children's Hospital. 16 diagnosed with leukemia. Girlfriend broke up with him over it. Didn't know what leukemia was. This sucks. He's going to die. St. Jude's took him on as a patient. You don't have to pay them $1 back. He graduated high school on time because they taught him in the curriculum while he was getting treatment. He's in college now, free of cancer. So grateful for the $2.1 million they spent saving him that he's raising it back, even though he doesn't have to. He's raised over $400,000. Pretty sick. All these kids in class want to be a part of something greater than themselves. None of them know how. How is the Believe in You series. We got to kick these kids in the ass and demand more of them. That's what my coach did for me, and I don't regret it. I'm asking you guys to turn around and do it to your students that you're in control of. Those are your kids. And I'm going to tell you, as much as I had loving parents, I was raised by coaches and teachers. You were all I had. So step up, because if not you, then who? Or you can make excuses. And you know what the number one excuse is in the world, football guys, for not going to a band concert? I'm too busy. I've never met a human being have more than 24 hours in a day, baby. Bite your lip every time you make an excuse. Your life will change in a week. Promise you that. I was born dead with one arm in a broken household. Couldn't read till I was in 3rd grade. Dyslexia, ADD. Graduated college in 3 years on a full D1 scholarship. Dad died when I was 10. Mom passed away. Didn't make my 7th grade basketball team. The world constantly told me I wasn't good enough and I wouldn't achieve, and then I had a coach believe in me. And I changed that. And I believe in you guys, and I want to thank you guys for everything you do behind closed doors that not many people get to see or appreciate, and the things you do for these kids when you go over and beyond what your requirements are. I really appreciate that, because I was that kid that needed that. Out of love and respect, I can't thank you guys enough. That's not enough, man. I got to challenge you too. Go to a band concert. Film it. Be a part of the movement that we're trying to create, or I'm wasting my time. 100 gigs a year in these schools. I can't do it without you. You're my army. I'm Captain Hook. You're my army. My name's Kevin Atlas. I appreciate all your time. I'm going to be outside for pictures, hugs, if you want to touch the nub like this guy. It's your world. I'm living in it. But thank you guys so much for having me. Really appreciate you.